Everybody, this is Andy with Two Perspectives Studio. This is Tuesday and another Try It Tuesday inside the Crafting Collective. If you are joining me live, you can give me a comment or say hi or a thumbs up or anything just to make sure my comments are working. If you're catching this later on a replay, you can hashtag replay, ask any questions. I'm happy to answer. I see Jamie. Hi Jamie, how are you today? I have been messing with the adjustments on my little camera thing here, trying to get less glare, and I'm not sure if I've succeeded or not. I feel like my skin looks a little weird. I'm not sure. Hey Susan, hey Tina. Hope everybody's doing good. Let me click over here. See if I can get this rolling. I have too many gadgets in front of me, I feel like. So much work going live. So many things you have to click and do and all the things. It's like jeepers. I look farther away? Really? Thank you, Tina. I finally got my hair cut. I've been cutting it myself for over a year, and I'm sure you guys are like, man, she's looking rough. I was starting to get a mullet because it's so hard to cut the back of your hair by yourself. So it was like growing out in the back and driving me crazy, and then I'd like cut the sides. She had to cut it super short because she was like, don't do that again. She said, just come in, don't do that again. She said, this reminds me of post-COVID. I was like, oh great, it was that good, huh? Yeah, I feel more like me now. I'm loving the hair back to normal. I still feel like I need to get some of my gray. I have a lot of gray like right in here, and it's sort of annoying me. I know they're like, it's popular to be growing graceful with gray or whatever the heck they call it. I'm not graceful about anything that I do, so gray is definitely not up there on my list. So I'll probably be getting some color before too long. So I'll get rid of that stuff. Anyway, I think Cece was absent this morning. She had something going on, but she is normally on first, and we just got finished up with, hey Stacy, hey Jan. We just got finished with Jan and her frog and her giggles, and that was just too funny. I have a frog that I did out of polymer clay that stares down on me every day. He's sitting on his lily pad, and he has his little water lilies cascading down. I flipped a wine glass upside down, and he's sitting on a pad on the, like, what's the bottom of the wine glass, but it's the top. And then I have these vines cascading down with little water lilies and pink and peach and purple and all that. So he was one of my favorites. He has fake eyelashes sticking up out of his eyes. So he's adorable. I love frogs. So I loved your project, Jan. Hey Teresa, hey Stacy. You're waiting for the doctor? Oh no. I don't like going to the doctor. Hey Robin. So what was I saying? I don't even know what I was saying. I think I need to click this button over here. I'm trying to make a video inside of a video, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be successful or not, but I have another camera over here, and I have a camera over there, and I got a camera over here, and I'm going to see how this turns out. So did you guys see that I started a blogging website? If you want to check it out, it's called thepropchef.com. You can sign up on email. I'll be sending out email coupons for discounts on all kinds of things that I have on my Etsy store, and of course my Prop Chef line of fake supplies. So if you're interested in that, I just started. I have a little introductory video on there. I do have a couple of blog posts for like food photographers and home stagers and that kind of stuff, just sort of like introductory kind of things. But I'm going to be doing some exclusive videos. I'm going to be doing some staging blogs and videos with that on how you can stage different things with realistic fake foods and different stuff like that. So if you want to check it out, thepropchef.com. So there's that. I'm trying to get all my little housekeeping things out of the way before we start. So today, making realistic bananas. I make realistic half banana, like a whole banana cut in half. I use them on my banana splits. I made a mold. I took banana slices and froze them. Very, very green bananas is what I used. I needed them to be hard. Hey AAA, hey Dewey. Froze the banana until it was pretty darn solid. And I tried the mold with that. It did not work. I found using pretty good quality banana chips, like the dehydrated banana things. There's some of them get curly when they're in process, but some of the ones in the bags are flat. I did a mold out of that. And what I did in my mold was I doubled them up so that I got a thicker piece, so that I have a decent, I don't think I even have any in this room right now. They're all in the storage bedroom down the hall. But yeah, I use the ones that you buy them in the grocery store. They're those dehydrated bananas, and they worked good. They worked the best in the mold that you press, not the mold that you pour. The stuff that looks like Play-Doh that you can form out and then just take something hard and squish down into it. And then what I do when each one pops out of the mold, it's already textured and everything and it looks nice, but I take a little paint and I just paint the centers, and they're very realistic looking. I've been happy with those. So that's how I made those. If you need specific instructions on it, you can always send me a message and I'll do my best to tell you whatever I know, which a lot of times isn't much. It's sort of trial and error with me, so you just never know. So today I found this adorable, I know Jan said I was going to make churros, and I told her either cheese or churros. If I have enough time, maybe I'll make the churros too. But I love making 3D food art signs. I don't know if you guys saw my blueberry pancake sign. This is my latest one. I have 3 little baby tacos and then 3 churros on the bottom. And I don't know if you can see because of my stupid lighting here, but my churros are dusted in a product that I sell. I sell these finishing sugars. This is actually my gingerbread spice mix, but it looks exactly like cinnamon, looks like the cinnamon sugar. So I use this on a lot of stuff. I'm not sure, it looks like it's coming out blurry on there, but it's really good. I sell a whole line of them. They're on my Etsy shop if anybody wants to check that out. But if I have enough time on the end, I'll show you how I made those churros, and I'll show you how this sugar ends. But what I wanted to do today was I found this adorable little cloche in Home Goods, and I wanted to make a decent size. Yeah, I use Model Magic for it as well, AAA. I use Model Magic for almost everything, honestly. That's not true. I use a lot of foam clay too, but for major stuff, it's almost always the Model Magic. I saw this picture because I asked my Google friend to show me some pictures of cheese under glass. So I kind of liked this one. I have no idea what kind of cheese it is, but I liked the fact that it's a creamier center and then that dark rind that goes around the outside, and there's a couple of, indentations and stuff like that in there. So I was going to try and make something like this, and I had to wrap my head around the best way to do it, And I often try to start out making a miniature version of whatever I want to make. I wish there wasn't so much glare on this, honestly. I have to like, stop. I can't get it. But I made this little mini one here, and I think it's a decent representation. However, I tried to use actual cheesecloth. Gouda usually has a red rind on it. I make Gouda a lot for my, I make a lot of cheese. Actually, I make 3 different kinds of cheese charcuterie boards that I sell in my Etsy store. And I make a lot of different cheeses. I'll make little like picks with little cubes of different types, and I'll stick them all together. Thank you, Janice. I appreciate that. I make Goudas and Swiss and cheddar. Brie is, I love making brie. Hey, Raymond, how are you? So to try and make the texture on this, because these harder cheeses, when they make them, that's what cheesecloth is all about. It's called cheesecloth for a reason, because that's how you make your cheese. So I was thinking maybe I could make that textured indentation on the top of this Model Magic by just pressing in the cheesecloth. It didn't give me quite what I was looking for. I don't feel like there's enough oomph in there. So cheesecloth and Model Magic is probably not going to be my go-to, but I'll figure that out in a minute. So I want a decent, because this is a pretty large cloche, and I want a room in here to put. My husband made a bunch of these. We bought the metal end pieces already forged, and then we used repurposed sanitized wine corks, and then he put button endings on them that were decorative. They're all different. And I use these in my charcuterie boards that I sell, but I was thinking it would be really cute to have the cheese in there with the knife. So I don't want to make it humongous, but I don't want to make it super small either. So I think I'm going to maybe take this down just a little bit, and I may make it taller rather than wider if I can. I'm not sure. I'm kind of a cheese head. I love cheese. I don't think there's any kind of cheese that I don't like. I'll even eat Limburger, and that's saying something. But I think I grew a love for Limburger because of my mom. My mom always loved Limburger cheese. I couldn't eat it quite as much as she did, but I still like it. And I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not exactly sure what kind of cheese that is. I just know that it is a rind cheese. And it's got different layers of color in through it. Hey, Marie. You see there's different layers. It's like creamier right in the center, and then it gets darker as it goes out. So I wanted to try to... I had a bad experience with Gorgonzola once. I still like the cheese, but I had it blow up on me at because I used to be a real food caterer. So what I do now isn't really far off from what I used to do, but now there's no calories involved, so that's a good thing. Because I think I probably had a few too many of those when I was going. So, yeah, we were at my daughter Chelsea and I, Chelsea's my baker daughter, and she used to help me cater a lot. And we used to do some of the wedding shows, those big festival things where they invite all the wacky brides in there and they drape them all with those ridiculous sashes and try and sell them everything under the sun. So, so we used to do those, and hey, Michelle. Okay, so AAA is not a fan of Gorgonzola. Well, I had made these little, they were risotto bites, little risotto cheese little bitty, just bite size, like an appetizer thing. And it had a gorgonzola sauce that you drizzled over them. They were absolutely delicious. Everybody loved them. So we had a bunch of foods there for tasting. We had hot foods, and then we had cakes and things like that. And we had our bridal shower setup. We had some fake cakes, and we had a pretty decently sized setup. Anyway, people were coming by and getting the appetizers and stuff. So I had a bunch of hot food chafing pans along the one side. And my daughter was, schmoozing people and giving out the literature and trying to talk them into using us as a caterer and everything. And I was back there, and I had my gorgonzola cheese sauce in these squeeze bottles, like the squeezy ketchup and squeezy mustard bottles that you use at picnics and stuff. Well, I didn't realize that I hadn't pulverized the gorgonzola cheese enough and or snipped off the top to be big enough to dispense this. So a piece of the gorgonzola cheese was wedged in the dispenser. We were very busy. We had a lot of people. I was trying to hurry. So here I am just squeezing the crud out of this thing. Trying to get that one little cheese piece to pachoom right out of there, and it pachoomed all over me. So our booth smelled like holy haywire, because if you've ever smelled gorgonzola cheese, you know it is a very pungent, skunky kind of thing. Oh, tortellini with gorgonzola. I would love that. I would eat the heck out of that. I would love that. That sounds really good. Anyway, needless to say, I was covered, as was half of our booth, in stinky gorgonzola cheese sauce. My daughter was, yes, gorgonzola cream sauce volcano. There's Chelsea. We still talk about that. Oh my goodness, what a mess. Holy cow. Just because I was too impatient to stop and unscrew the top and unclog the cheese. So I have just been sort of, while we've been talking here, I've just been manipulating my cheese, and I'll flip it over from time to time while I'm doing this. What the heck is that? Something is in my cheese. Yeah, everybody loved our little appetizer, but I couldn't get near anybody the rest of the night. I stunk. I was like skunky. So my mat here is providing some texture for it, but it's just not deep enough. So I'm still not sure exactly what to do with that. Maybe I'll try. I have my trusty little foil ball. Maybe I will just lightly, I don't want too much indentation. I just want a little bit of texture. Because like I said, cheese that's been wrapped in the cloth that has that sort of casing on it, even if the casing has been peeled, yeah, I don't have any of that, Raymond. That would probably be really good, like a plastic screen or something like that. But even like in a Gouda, when you peel that red cheese wax off of it, and that's really what that is, it's just wax that they encase it in, there's still that sort of grainy texture when you pull it off. So I think it's not horrible. It's not like the checker pattern, but it's not terrible. It is a texture. So I think I can go with that. Now I'm going to take, this one has a couple of little breaks in it and a couple of little holes. So I think I'm going to do something like that. I have my needle tool and my little ball tool here. This is the smallest one, and I think I'm going to use this one just to stinky fromage. I love the fromage. I eat it every day. I'm just going to make, you probably can't even see. Yeah, you can see that. I'm just going to make a couple of holes sort of interspersed. And then I'm just going to run my blade like right along the top, just very lightly, just like a small score, just to sort of make it look like where that, I don't know if you can see that either. Maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to fix these cameras. I'll get the hang of it one day. But I'm just going right along the top and bottom line, and then right in through here. Just sort of where that casing was. And that's all I'm going to do with that. So that was easy. Now for the shading, I was thinking about painting. And then I got to thinking maybe the paint would not be as realistic as I was hoping for. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of both, maybe. I have, it's called unbleached titanium. It's pretty similar to, hey Julie, thanks for joining us. Hey, we have a new watcher on here. That's pretty awesome. Dollar Tree plastic canvas, Raymond says. All right, next time I go in Dollar Tree, I'm going to have to look for that. I think your Dollar Tree has a lot of cooler stuff than my Dollar Tree has, to be honest. My Dollar Tree is kind of a dud. Because a lot of things that I go looking for, I can't find. I can usually order them online, which is something that I do. Where are you from, Julie? We are here every Tuesday. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us. I didn't even have to use my fingers. We usually start at 11 a.m. Eastern with our friends Cece with Dragonflies and Hearts. And you know, I wish I could say that our weekly schedule was up on my site right here, but it's not, because yeah, I even made the flyer this week and I didn't post it. So there we are with that. I know it's on Jan C's Designs. So if you watch Jan C's Designs, I know it's on her page. So you can see everybody there. I am just going to start, and I wet my brush. This is a number 5 round. It's a soft brush. I use mostly soft brushes for what I do. Occasionally I'll have a need for a harder brush, but not usually. So I start with the brush a little bit wet, and then I dab it off on a paper towel before I start. And that just gives me a little bit of color. I work in a swirling pattern so that it sort of blends it, and it doesn't leave brush strokes, because you don't want that. And I just take a little bit of paint and a little bit of water and swirl it around, and then I do about 2 or 3 dabs off on the tissue, and then swirl some more. And working little by little, you don't get those brush strokes, but you will get some shading. And again, with my light, you're not going to be able to see much, but I promise it is changing color. I think you can see it when I do that. And I'm just going to do the sides. I'm not going to worry about the top or the bottom. Hey, Maritza. I'm going to dip that off. Once this cheese piece is under the cloche and sitting down, you're not going to be able to see whatever's on the bottom. So unless you want this to be a piece that is movable for staging, which a lot of the ones that I do it that way. You don't even have to do the bottom if you don't want to. Flint, Michigan. Oh, you're near Cece. Julie's Designs. All right. Well, everybody, we can give you a follow. Julie's Designs. Do you do resin work also? All right. So I didn't worry about the top because I'm going to be using a different thing for the top here. I am going to clean up my little paint here because I know as soon as I don't think about it, I will stuff something in the paint. All right. So I think that's a pretty good size to fit underneath here. I maybe should have made it a little taller, but I'm going to start with this one and see how it all goes. So I colored the middle the creamy color, and then I need to shade this edge, and then we need to do the darker on the top and the back. So I know a lot of you guys use, what the heck did I do with it? Oh. I know a lot of you guys use makeup palettes for your shading, but with the stuff that I do, oh, that's awesome. Clay and resin. Yeah, we do resin here as well. Mostly, well, we use it for a lot of things. These, I'm getting off track, sorry. These are called pan pastels. I know some of you use like these, you guys call them chalk pastels sometimes, that you get in the packages at Hobby Lobby. They're actually called soft pastels, but they are a little bit chalky. These are sort of the same thing, but they're a tad bit creamier. They're poured into these little pans, and they come with little caps on them. I keep them all in these holders according to sort of like category, and I just store them like that. But you can pop these right out. They're called pan pastels. They are super for shading Model Magic. The makeup I've found, and I haven't experimented a ton with the makeup because I can't ever find the right, I mean, who makes makeup in mustard yellow? I mean, it's just, I don't even know if they do that. But anyway, for the colors that I usually work with on what I'm trying to shade, I want something that sticks to the clay, whereas a lot of times the more you touch it, the more the makeup will wear off and come off with your hands. I have a lot of pieces that are movable pieces within a larger structure. So if people handle these, like food photographers handle them, I need something that's going to hold up to it. And I can't always put a ton of sealant on these. I do use a light coat, usually a spray sealant over things like cheese. But I have to have something that's pretty durable on here and that'll stick to the surface and won't come back off as much on your fingers. So that's why I use these pan pastels. They come in a humongous variety of colors. I mean, every color and shade under the sun. They are a professional critter. You should wear a face mask if you use them a lot. The dust, a lot of these are mineral related, so they can cause harmful effects to you if you're not careful. Same thing with the professional chalk pastels. You should always wear a face covering when you're using those kinds of things for safety. Anyway, so there's my my little heed the warning kind of thing. Now I'm going to flip this over just to do the shading a little bit. Now this is a yellow ochre, and this is a raw sienna. Both of these are the two most common paint colors that I use when I'm shading baked goods and things like that. So having it in a pastel like this is extra nice. I'm going to start with the ochre. I don't even rub it. All I do is dab it with this little, this is a, it's called a mop brush. It's actually not a makeup brush. This is a professional acrylic mop brush for painting. But I have sort of transitioned half of my painting brush collection into other things. I'm going to go along the bottom here and just start with a light shade. Now you can kind of see right away how much that took. I mean, I did 2 little blops and ran it on the sides, and you see how much colorant comes out of there. Now I'm not trying to downplay the whole makeup thing. I'm just saying if you are a realistic food creator and you do use things like Model Magic, I'm not sure that foam clay would not be wear those face coverings. Sorry about that. I'm not sure that that foam clay would not be too sticky for this. Yeah, you can actually, Marie, you can do these with your fingers on, there's special papers that they use for pastels, and you can smudge and use brushes and sponges and different things and create some beautiful landscapes with this. I love using them. I don't do so much painting and all that anymore because I'm all wrapped up in this food thing now, but I sure love doing it. And it doesn't take much to do this at all. Like I said, I'm not sure how this would react to foam clay. Foam clay may be a little bit too sticky for this product. I have no idea, honestly. I'll probably try it at some point. I know the chalk pastels work well on foam clay, but these pan pastels are they're just a little bit creamier. But the Model Magic is such a dense clay that you can do a lot with it and not have it stick. I love using this in silicone molds just because of the non-stick factor, where a lot of times you'll try and wedge that foam clay down in there and shoo, it never comes out again. I think this is looking pretty good, just with the ochre. I may have used a slightly larger brush than I should have, but I think that's all right. I think I'm going to switch to something a little bit smaller to do a little bit of this sienna. Because I want it just a little bit darker, especially on the top. Yeah, Jan, I use mostly firm clays like you do, and I use this, like these greens here, I'll use for lettuce leaves, sometimes the base coating on pickles. I have some darker greens that I do for green beans and scallion. I just did another sushi board that had scallion on it, and I used some of these as a base for the scallion. It sort of sticks and sinks in very well. You want to call it okra? You're such a southerner, Jan. So this is actually when it goes down in those little lines that I depressed in here, it sort of makes a darker impression down in the line. So that's pretty cool. So I really like the way that that looks. I know it's hard to see with my funky lights. Maybe we need a little bit on the back side. But I think that's a pretty decent look. Not too bad off from the one in the picture. And that's always the goal, to try and get it to look like, hey Pam, how are you? Yeah, but Jan, you've lived in the South too long. You lived in Bama, and you lived in North Kakalaki. So that kind of makes you into a southerner just by the time that you lived here. So I like that. So I would stage that under my little cloche with the, I don't know if I would put that on top, or it seems like it needs a fruit or something in there, like a fig. I need to make a fake fig. Let's see if we can, how are we going to stage this? So I kind of have the thing up in the back like so. Yes, I use the ochre quite a bit on the pancakes. I also have a lighter yellow color that I use as a base. It's more of like a creamy color. I don't have that one in this palette. The only thing I don't like about this cloche is this wiggly stem here. I wish it was like sucked up in this little hole. I think it would be much better. My knife is a little bit long for this, and that's kind of annoying. That's where I should have made the cheese taller rather than longer, but even without the knife, I think it's nice. So that was my little cheese project. Now I will let this sit until the clay hardens. I didn't put a filler in here. This is Solid Model Magic. It'll take about 3 days for it to get a good crust and dry, probably 2/3 of the way through. Then I don't know, let's see if it will sit on top. Maybe. Yeah, it will. Now I have a glare. So after about 3 days, I'll go back and I will spray coat this with a polyurethane. I use a satin most of the time on cheese. I don't like the matte because it's too matte, and I don't like the gloss unless I'm spraying the top of a Gouda. And then I usually use a varnish, a paint-on varnish, and I just do that part. But I like the satin coating for cheeses. But it definitely has to be What the heck did I do with the lid? Oh, it definitely has to be pretty dry before you do any of that. And none of that, none of this pan pastel will come off in that process. So that's a good thing. Now I will clean this dust off here, and I'll show you real quick what I did with my churro. And then coming up at 3 is the wonderful Marie with Great Creations Faux Cupcakes. Ah, we have another North Kakalaki. Julie lived there too, huh? I lived in Asheville for 27, 28 years. Hickory, yeah. So I just took some Model Magic for my churros for my little sign, which I just love my taco and churro sign. Oh, stay. I could not figure out how to... I found the cloche at Home Goods. I think it was $6.99 or $7.99. It wasn't much. I was shocked at the price. I was like, holy cow, I have to have that. Where does who live now, Jamie? Jan lives in West Virginia. I don't have my right glasses on. That's why I'm not reading this right. So I don't think churros are supposed to be this long, but they might be. But I'm going to make smaller churros just for the sake of instruction purposes. I have this little, what do you call this thing? Like a scrapey doodle. So I think it's a spackle thing, like when you're fixing the wall. I think it's a spackle doohickey. I don't know what its technical name is. Scrapey doodle. So I did condition this Model Magic. I guess I should say that for anybody that is not familiar with Model Magic, because Model Magic needs to stretch like taffy and not snap. If you pull it and it snaps, it's not conditioned enough. I condition them out of the bags that they come in, and then I put them in these little resealable bags, and then I take them out and I usually condition them a little bit more. But it usually takes about 10 minutes, like a full 10 minutes of stretching and pulling on these things to get them to where they're warm and pliable and everything else. Putty knife, that's good, Jenna. I like that. Putty knife, yes. So you have to make sure that this is fully conditioned, or your items can crack pretty severely to where you're going to just have to throw them away. Debbie from Paper Sweeties is headed your way soon for a birthday party. She was talking about it last night, Andy. What does that mean? Oh, gotcha. All right. I don't know why I'm doing that. So I used this little blade thing here. Once I got them rolled out to whatever size I wanted, I took this and sort of rolled in, and it took me 2 sweeps with this. You may have a icing scraper. Just be careful. This is plastic and it's a lot more rounded. This is sharp. This will make cuts into the clay if you're not careful. So you could use either one, but I would suggest something a little more rounded. And you're just going to go through and make those lines and keep rotating and just gently make those lines, just like a churro would have when it spits out of the little churro maker press thing. Because churros get pressed through the kind of like a cookie gun thing that just spits it out. What does that mean, Marie? I don't even know. And you can probably use a needle tool or anything else that has that kind of scoring potential. And you don't want to make cuts in it. You just want to make indentations. Now this is something that would be a little more difficult to do with the foam clay. I don't know if you can even see my indentations there. Oh, it doesn't even matter what way I turn it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not too close to Carowinds. That's probably 35 minutes away from me. So I did that to my churros, and then I painted them. Now, I went with a slightly darker, because churros are cooked. So I like the sienna line for a lot of things. The raw sienna is one of my go-tos for mixing. You're in Rock Hill? No way. I'm in Indian Land. We're like neighbors. My son lives in Rock Hill. I'm just going to put a little bit of this burnt sienna. This is burnt, not raw. This is a little more on the reddish side. I use it for pretzels, churros. What else do I use burnt for? I use it for a lot of different things. It's also good if you're trying to mix it in just a little bit. You got married in York at the JOP. We got married in our house. Of course, it wasn't our house yet, but we got married right here in this house. 7+ years ago. All right, I'm going to use that same round brush. I would normally use a flat brush, but because this one is already half dirty and sitting in my water pot, I'm just going to use that. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that paint, and my brush is wet, and I'm just going to go back and forth in a sweeping motion. And because my brush is wet, it's going to sort of water down the color of the paint a little bit and make it look a little less dark, you know, a little bit lighter. And I should have put a glove on because I'm going to get messy, but that's all right. I'm just going to do this real quick. I go around the whole thing, and you'll notice because you water this down just a little bit, and this is a professional paint, so it's a lot thicker, and when you water them down, you notice you can get a lot of different gradients in the color. And that's kind of what you're going for, the different gradient texture. Because when things get fried like that, like a churro is fried, it's deep fried. So when it comes out of the fryer, or anything comes out of a fryer, whether it's a French fry or a mushroom or whatever, there's always different gradients of color in it. So I don't have my, let's see, maybe I can do it with this. I don't have my hair dryer hooked up, and I should have, because I didn't think I was going to have enough time for the churro, but alas, we did. Because I'm always fast with my crafts. I'm going to use a little bit of this varnish, and I know my paint is still a little bit wet, so I'm going to be pretty gentle with it. But I want the varnish as sort of like a stick factor, because I don't want to put glue all over this right now. So I'm going to use just a little bit of varnish. And I'm going to take, this is my own, nobody else sells anything like this. And I have a huge line of colors and some specialty. This is one of the finishing sugars that's a candy variety. This is actually mimicking McCormick's, the McCormick Spice Company. This mimics their 5-piece line of finishing sugars that they put out this past Christmas. They had candy cane. This is a gingerbread spice. Let's see, what else was in that line? I actually did some other ones other than what they had. This is my version of a chocolate toffee. This one is very coarse, but it looks like a ground up Heath bar. I have a, what else do I have? This is a salted caramel. It has like the white salt pieces and then the caramel pieces. This is a medium grain. This is my mint chocolate chip. These are made with, this is the candy cane. And this is great. This is a very coarse mixture. This was great at Christmas time to put on top of mug designs and things like that. This is a cocoa. It's a mix of sort of a light and dark cocoa mixture. But that's McCormick. We have a bunch of other ones that we've done since then. This Tutti Frutti is one of my favorites. It has pink and peach and greens and blues and stuff. It looks great on cookies. It sticks to spackle like glitter doesn't. It sticks to everything. This is, and nobody else sells this. This is my own creation, my own stuff. It's on my Etsy. I have them all laid out. I have like, I don't even know, 16 or 18 different varieties of it. Lots of pastel colors and neat stuff. What am I doing? Gingerbread. The gingerbread looks a lot like cinnamon sugar. So when you put it on this churro, and all I did was put a little varnish on it. I didn't even put glue on it, which I did my other ones. I just want to show you. This is a interesting mixture of ingredients in these, one of them being pulverized glass. So it has a lot of sparkle to it. It's sort of like diamond dust, but less coarse. Diamond dust is a little more coarse. I don't know how well you can even see that. I wish you could see it better because it's beautiful. It's a little bit shiny, sticks on there well, and if you just let that dry, actually if you let your paint dry, put it on with glue or Mod Podge, either one works, and then spray very lightly just to hold it all on there and make sure nothing comes off like these. Oh, I sprayed them very lightly with a gloss polyurethane sealant. So these got chocolate drizzled on top of that. I was going to put a little pot of chocolate sauce because you usually dip your churros, but I wasn't sure if that was going to be aesthetically pleasing with my little sign here, so I decided to go with the chocolate drizzle, instead. So that's where I went with that. So if you're interested in any of these, you can let me know. I'm always happy to send you a sample of anything that you want to see. I am going to hopefully do, JR and I were talking about doing another big sale. When we do the big ones, it's helpful for me to have him with me so that I can go a little bit faster and don't get bogged down so much because I tend to lose my focus if he's not there. So we were talking about doing a big sale. We still have tons of artwork and tons of other stuff that we're trying to de-stash. I stopped doing the live sales and Crafting Down South Wednesday sales because it just got to be too much with everything else that was going on at the time. I may do a couple of those here in the next couple of months and see if I can get back into it. But yeah, we'll be probably advertising the sale in the next couple of weeks. Probably, I'm thinking like the second week of May, maybe. But I'm not sure if that's Mother's Day. So we're just going to pick a decent weekend where he can help me, and we'll advertise that to everybody, and maybe you can pick things up. Also, if you sign up on thepropchef.com, our new blogging website, if you sign up for the emails, I will be, within the next couple of weeks, I will be sending out coupons for Prop Chef supplies from the email signups. So if you're interested in any of that and you want a discount on Prop Chef supplies, you know where to go, thepropchef.com. So if anybody has any questions about anything that I have done here or the messes that I have made therein, you can always message me, and I'll be happy to tell you what I know or don't know or anything in the like. So Marie is coming up in 3 minutes from Great Creations Faux Cupcakes. I know Nicole and her husband are off on an adventure celebrating their wedding anniversary, I believe. Is it, or is it Nicole? It's Nicole's birthday, isn't it? Or is it both? I don't even know. They're off on a vacation having a wonderful time, I'm sure. So thank you, AAA. I appreciate that. The white color I painted the cheese, it is called Unbleached Titanium. Anyway, yeah, everybody hop on over to Great Creations Faux Cupcakes and watch Marie, and she will be entertaining you for the next little while. I will see you back again here next Tuesday at 2. And until then, I hope everybody has a great rest of their week, and I'll see you later. Bye, y'all.